He founded Rewind, a virtual reality and creative digital agency back in 2011. Today, clients include some of the world's largest brands such as Sony, BBC, Red Bull, Microsoft, and Lexus. Welcome on stage of Webit Festival, Mr. Saul Rogers.
Well, hello. What a nice thing, the end of the day. Everyone's waiting to get to the bar, and I'll run through some stuff very, very swiftly. Wonderful. So my name's Saul Rogers. I'm the managing director of Rewind. We're a virtual reality production studio, and I want to talk to you about why that is so fundamentally important. We've done a lot of things in the past, lots of crazy projects, things from helping horses disappear for Stella to launching the Xbox One and turning their building inside down, planes that fly around at incredible speeds, and mum champagne stands where you don't have to waste any champagne. All about creative technology. The reason I want to talk about that is you need all of those skills to create VR content, and there's a lot of different types out there. Recently, though, because of everyone's getting excited about VR, I've done lots of silly things like this. So, photo shoots outside my office, helping Loaded write an article on the future of virtual sex. We don't work in that industry, never have, never will. Otherwise, I wouldn't get to talk at places like this or work with some of the brands we do. But I've done lots of conferences, some over at Google, some at VR UK, Autodesk University at 8,000 people, and then we also run VRLO, which is Virtual Reality London's biggest meetup. And it started off with 100 people last summer, it's now at 1,000. The movement is moving that fast. We won an award from Lord Marlin, who's the Conservative MP for technology, teaches, this was out in Tiffin in America for Immersive. And then this is Tony Hall, Director General of the BBC, seeing some of our content. And a really, really scared R&D lady. She's so nervous. She hopes she sees what it likes. And then there was lots of stuff with the BBC News and CERN, if you've seen it coming around. So the BBC's first television programme. Won't be able to play this in time because I've only got 12 minutes, but there's a lot of our stuff out there. I want to talk to you a little about the type of content we've made over the last 2 years. So I'm going to talk over this if you can kind of keep the volume down. And the strange thing is that all of this counts as VR. So the air race is 200 miles an hour, 50 foot off the ground. It's the Formula One of the skies. But the only way you could feel what it's like to be in a plane is in VR. And in this fact, it's a game engine. So taking scan data, the telemetry of the real plane to drive a virtual experience. It's only one step away from allowing you to fly yourself. Lexus taking CAD data and visual effects to allow you to see this product. And as long as they're selling the vehicle, this 360 experience, which is on iOS and Android, will have value and worth. Outside of that, we've been making our own IP, our own games. So this is a tiny little game we put out into the ecosystem. You run around cleaning windows. It's as ridiculous as it sounds. But in VR, it's incredibly enthralling and immersive. You have to defend your sandwiches from seagulls. That's your score multiplier. But it's a small game being sold on a global platform for a couple of dollars. Architectural visualization. So this is for Autodesk themselves. San Francisco at a global level, zoom inside the apartment. Now I can be there and feel the size of it, but I can change the furniture. I can move around within it. I can change the walls. I can change the open and close the curtains, and I can see what it's like to be in that building. And then for me, going back through a catalog. So the possibility that I can take cars that I've always wanted to buy and drive, now I can spec them out. And in fact, I've got a whole garage of virtual vehicles for myself. This might be at a museum, or it might be the way you spec out the next car that you buy. And then finally, lots of 360 video, and this is why people are so excited. BBC's biggest Saturday night show was Strictly Come Dancing, and they asked us to shoot it in 360. So we did two things. First one, you're in the middle of the dance floor, you are part of the dance. And the other one is the best seat in the house. Money can't buy that seat. I couldn't get my mother it, I can't get you it, I won't be able to get anyone else it, but in VR, you can actually be there. And the strange thing is about all of that stuff, it all counts as VR. It's like saying television. There are so many different formats and flavors and genres about to arrive. We don't even have the right words for all of them yet. And this is the problem. And this is why we're excited. I love font choice, is great. Fundamentally changing entertainment landscape. Unprecedented evolution of VR. 13,000% next 3 years. And graphs with millions of headsets being sold, billions of dollars being invested, more graphs with billions, hype curves on it's on the right side of it, radars with everything coming in. Everyone's really excited. It'd be great if this new medium stuck this time around. 3D TV didn't work so well. But this is the real facts, and this is one we're going on. In the next 2 years, there's going to be 170 million real virtual reality users. Those are people with their headsets at home that want to consume that content more than they want to consume traditional games, traditional films, or traditional TV. We've had a go at this, and this is the problem. This is what people used to think VR was. And sadly, it's this thing's fault. This was the mid-90s. It was like a naughty child. It didn't know what it was doing. It messed up. It made everyone feel sick. So we told it to sit on a step and not come back until it realized what it had done. It took 20 years to come back. But since then, I mean, we've been doing VR headsets for a while, but we've been trying to make them ourselves. This is a real one. There's a projector on the inside of a dome. I don't know why she's sitting in front of a Windows TV, but she is. You can make your own ones. But these guys are up to it. They were trying to make a holodeck. I'm a geek. I'm in a creative technology world. I'm sure amongst friends, don't beat me up for it. But I was trying, not this, I was trying to make this. So I could transport to another world. And on day one, we managed to make it work. It's this guy, Palmer Luckey, who put it all together. 22-year-old, 23-year-old now in California. He wanted $250,000 on Kickstarter. We all know this story already. It's raised $2.5 million, one of the most popular Kickstarters of all time. Sold for $2 billion to Facebook before even releasing a single product. It's pretty good going, really. And then sold all of his products out in 2 hours, or just about that, and their pre-order. So this device is really amazing. And this is what we did with day one with ours. So headset, laptop in the back, hands. I could walk around my studio. It was okay, but I could see there was a future in this to transport you to another world, another reality, or recreate anyone. But it's really nothing. It's really just a screen. And all of the people that get excited are the people that want to sell you a new screen. So head-mounted displays, HMDs, the thing you stick on your face. At one end is Google Cardboards. They are $1. They're throwaway. They're giveaway. They're great for brands. Everyone likes packaging them up and putting their logo on the front of them because it's great for Twitter and everything else. The middle ground are where mobile devices are going, so the Samsung Gear VR. And then the bottom three are the Ferraris, and that's why I'm so excited. You've got the PlayStation VR, the HTC Vive, then the Oculus Rift, and then the other one with a star is the HoloLens. And I'll talk briefly about that if I have time, but merging reality is not just replacing it. So Samsung Gear VR, the Rift, and the PlayStation. And these guys are up to something. They always are, but there's a lot of hiring and a lot of patents flying around. I would put money on it. I have no NDAs, I have no affiliation, I can say that out loud, and I won't get in too much trouble. But it's all about content. VR content, though, is worse than awful if you do it badly. Watching a bad B-movie on TV with your friends, you sit on your phone, you watch stuff, you have a chat, it doesn't really matter. But when that B-movie is your reality that you're in, you can't get away from it. The only thing you can do is rip the headset off to try and leave the content. So we've got to be careful. It's not a silver bullet. And a lot of people have wanted the VR gimmick. Or I kept asking from clients going, can I have an Oculus? What do you mean an Oculus? You want some virtual reality content for your conference to help you sell your new vehicle? No, I want an Oculus. Because they think that was what the social worth was it. And we've been working very hard to make good content. We've had 130 years to get film right. And we're pretty good at it. I cry at the movies all the time. Those directors pull at my heartstrings. 40 years to get games right, the current version of gaming. They're very good. We've only been doing VR for 3 years. That kind of curve that we're on, no one can consider themselves truly an expert in this. And my friends at DreamWorks said it very loudly. There isn't 10,000 hours of work yet in the VR space. You call yourself a specialist? I call myself almost an expert. I'm working on it. But only over the next few years will we work out the type of content to make. The flavors of VR, though, the current set of the union, at one end we have 360 video work, and then as we work through cinematic, hybrid, and true VR, this is kind of bookending it. But there are flavors we haven't even existed yet. The real difference is one end is linear, non-interactive, and the other end is fully interactive. One, you look around with your phone or use a Google Cardboard to be transported somewhere. The other one, you are driving, you're flying, you're in the world, you're in another space, and you're embedded and immersed within it. 360 video is going to be the big one this year. 2016, everyone's excited. But this is the problem. They're all made up, hand-me-down, invented cameras to try and capture reality. This is a little one I was using earlier. This is a Theta. I'll take a picture, everyone. There you go. It's great, but it's very low resolution. You can get some duct tape and some GoPros and make a GoPro rig, or you can have 14 red dragons on a car, which is a big old rig, to drive around. And you get one of these. So this is an Echo Rectangle. This is an unwrapped video. And that you upload onto YouTube or Facebook, and suddenly people can be immersed. And they can look around with a tablet, and that's okay. Using a VR headset, though, you are in that world instantly. It transports you there. It breaks all of the barriers down. This is a camera we had to use just 4 months ago, making our own ones up to try and shoot the best quality we can. But there are about to come out a whole bunch of them that you can get your hands on. So our favorites is Nokia Ozo, and we've been working with them very closely. And that's a robot where we can drive them around anywhere. Beautiful camera. The Facebook announced their own camera system 4 days ago. That, in theory, is going to be very, very good. And then these guys are going to make something. They've done an amazing story. It's called Lightro. It's not a camera for shooting images. It's a camera for 3D scanning universes. But we're a long way off where it comes through. And I won't play the whole thing because we don't have a lot of time. So Bjork Stone Milker, some people love her, some people don't. I think her music's wonderful. I'll skip past playing too much of it, 'cause some of you might not like it as much as I do. But for her, this was the piece. So this was shot by Verse. We put it all together into a VR application and ran it at MoMA. And watching in this format is really boring. She's just on a beach. There are no cuts, there's no close-ups, there's no movement. It's just a performance. But in VR, when you put your headset on, you are standing 3 foot away from her on a beach where she lives. And she's singing to you. She's looking to you in the eyes. And people have taken the headset off in tears because they never thought they'd get that close to their artist and that performance. And that's the power of VR. It's so transportative. It has no fourth wall. You are in the moment with it. But it has to be seen. There's no point talking about it. You have to see it for yourself. The nice thing about this piece of content, though, is we put it as an app. So it lives on iOS and Android. It's being sold for $2 or $3 globally on iOS and Android. And suddenly this piece of content, which was a music video which you can't sell, can be sold. And she's generating real revenue from it because the content has real value and worth. So it's worth thinking that people that are creating VR content right now shouldn't be given away. It should be monetized, sold for small denominations, $1, whatever it's going to be. True VR, though, makes you feel like you're there, the feeling of presence. You are part of the universe. And so for Red Bull, being it's the most ridiculous sport in the world flying around, we made this piece of content for them. I'll skim past it. It's supposed to make you feel sick. That's what they'd like, branded sick bags. But I said, not a chance are we making VR content which makes you feel sick. Everybody I speak to about an Oculus Rift project said, oh, it made me feel queasy. Well, no, it didn't. The hardware didn't. It's the bad director making a piece of content that doesn't work in the medium. That's what made you feel ill. This should, but we did 2 things, and this is what we made for them as a PR stunt. It's a lovely little British old granny there having a flight, and then America version over there, Winnebago with a full-size plane on a stick. And we got Palmer Luckey out, put him in a plane. He turned up in his pajamas and his flip-flops, because that's what lovely millionaires do. And he's the most down-to-earth, positive man that I've met. He just wants this new medium to take off. And with that grounding behind Oculus and now in Facebook, it's an amazing thing. And this is why it's so great. That thing, that's the VR smile. Everyone who puts an Oculus on and sees good content grins. You're 5 years old, the stabilizer off your bike, you're flying down the street, and it doesn't matter how much of a CEO you are, you're really enjoying it. So the new formats of VR, so I'm going to lose my questions, but it's fine. There'll be things like this, so secret cinema. I'll go and I'll drive a DeLorean, I'll punch Biff in the face, and then I'll sit down and watch Back to the Future, the movie. Or I'll be immersed in immersive theater, so punch-drunk theater is an amazing thing, so Drowned Man. 3 hours of actors playing out around you, and you get to explore that world. So the term VRX is a term for all these new types of formats. The final thing, and I know I'm slightly overrunning, is VR for good. This medium is so powerful. We bumped into it for this first thing. So this is a virtual tour of London. It's an app. You can download it, iOS and Android, and it's just hotspots and video. But we were up for an award for it at the Roosevelt Rooms, which is where the first Oscars were for the Protos. What I was thought for UI, but it was actually for this story. This lady had took a headset, took it to her granny in hospital, who was on her last legs from cancer, and she managed to transcend all of her disabilities for a short period of time. She could walk around Tuscany, she could drive a car, and by our app, my experience, she could visit London and actually do one of the things she always wanted to do. We didn't find out about this until she passed away, but since then we've started this movement. It's called VRtogether.org. Anybody who's making VR content can volunteer time, and anybody who'd like a project made which is not commercially viable or could be more interesting volunteers the project up, and we try and connect the dots. We're also looking for sponsors who might want to help out in that way, and Samsung are going to get behind us in that. So I'd love to hear from any of you. Thank you for listening. I know I overran. I'll let you all go to the bar. and I'll see you around the conference tomorrow.